One Radio. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rad One Radio. I'm your host, Rob Anthony Dyer, and with me today, I have someone that soap fans are going to love. She's a multi-award-winning actress, an audiobook narrator, and recently she is known as the deliciously wicked Dr. Liesel Obrecht on General Hospital, and I am proud to introduce Miss Kathleen Gati. Hi, Kathleen.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, I love the Obrecht accent.
Or better yet, hey, how you doing, Rob? Good to hear from you.
See, remember the first time I talked to you? I was really surprised to hear you without an accent.
Where's that accent?
Because I'd only seen you do accents, like on 24 and stuff like that.
No, it's about half and half. Half my work is with an accent, whether it's Russian or German or Austrian or British or something, and the other half is just good old North American.
We talked last year. You hadn't done too many episodes as Dr. Obrecht. Did you expect that you would be on so much?
I have no idea, but I'm so grateful, and I'm just loving, playing Dr. Obrecht and get to play with all these different actors. I'm always like, open a script, like, who do I get to play with today? It's always challenging and fun. So no, it's just evolved beautifully. I'm just thrilled. As we spoke, it started out with 2 days. Just a simple role of this German psychiatrist moving, I think, if I recall, I don't even remember, but basically I think I was moving Kimberly. I was moving Robin from one room to the next and introducing the César Faison dressed as Duke in the Duke mask.
And you also shot Tristan Rogers up with whatever to put him in a coma, I remember.
That was later.
Yeah.
That was not part of my original 2-day job. That was come in, move him here in a wheelchair from one room to the next, and goodbye. and then Anthony Geary comes in, Luke Spencer comes in, and I'm trying to thwart him. So he's looking for Anna Devane, and so I tried to thwart him, and those were 2 days, and they brought me back to 2 more, and then I stabbed poor Tristan Rogers. I didn't mean to. I said, I'm so sorry. But we made up. A year later, I saw him again. And I was like, I didn't mean to.
And now he's on the Young Restless.
So. I know. He's a sweetheart.
So now...
it's just been trolling.
That's great. I'm so glad you're on. And I remember now, last time you were on my show, 32,000 people listened. So you have fans out there for sure.
Hi, fans. I love you guys.
I think that,
Thank you. That's so great.
I did tweet that to Ron and Frank, so I don't know. Hopefully they obviously paid attention, because that must be a really fun character to play, and you're starting to show different sides of her, I've noticed. It's a great role, and it's a well-rounded role, and I get to really do everything, which I just so happy about. I get to be campy and broad and very serious and deep and profound and evil and cuckoo and funny, and I get to do all of it, and I get to put a lot of myself into it. All that cuckoo, campy, funny stuff is me, and all that serious, the serious stuff is me too. But that the evil thing hopefully isn't as dark, except when I'm going after a poor little spider. I have that evil look in my eye for sure. So I have to say I'm probably guilty of all those colors I bring to the role. Well, I noticed that recently you'll just show like a little twinge of vulnerability, just a hint, and then all of a sudden it's back to either something funny or something evil. And that's really great the way you do that. It's nice and subtle. I'm
so thrilled, and I really appreciate that the writers give me those moments, because if I were always nasty and evil, people would hate the character even more, than a lot of people hate the character now. But I get lots of we'd love to hate you.
Oh yeah.
And now they're saying we love to love you, so it's getting better.
Oh yeah.
But those moments showing her genuine heart and soul under all that thick, harsh outer skin, that tough shell, I think it's really fantastic that I get to do that, because the audience lets me into their heart just for a second, and then I shut the door. But at least they let me in, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity, because if it's a one-dimensional character, no one's gonna. After a while, it's gonna be flat and boring. And this way, it's never boring, because there's always, you never know what's coming next. And it's interesting for me as an actress, because I always love the challenge of doing something different. I get bored. If I'm doing the same thing, I get bored. And I saw Maurice Bernard do an interview, and he said he joined the show, I guess, 25 years ago, and he said, I agreed to stay until I get bored. And he says, I'm never bored. And I thought, me too. I'm not bored, because each episode has another twist for me, and I'm just so happy about that and so appreciative, because it's like, Kathleen Gati doesn't get bored, and neither does Obrecht.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that the audience also doesn't get bored because they don't know what's coming next. Is she going to be nice? Is she going to be sad? Is she going to sing? Is she going to cry? Break our hearts or really stab somebody? So I like that.
I love it too, and I love every episode that you're on. Every day I'm hoping that you're on, and I love the interaction with you and Finola Hughes. And you did
love working with her.
You did a recent interview together. Oh, actually, that was back in October of 2013. And I loved the scenes where where it was supposed to be your character wearing the Anna Devane mask, and
right,
and that was great. But yes, I think that fans cannot hate Obrecht. I can't. I never hated her. At first, I loved to hate her, and now it's like I love to love her, I think.
I've gotten such a good response, and I'm just so happy that people like the character and are growing with it and with me. We're growing together as the character is evolving, and I have a daughter, and it's great. It just expands the character, and now I'm the chief of staff, and that's pretty wild. I don't know for how long. Of course, it's all tenuous, so we'll see.
Right.
But while I'm chief of staff, I'm going to kick butt.
Last time I think I speculated that, I wonder if Obrecht could work at General Hospital.
I know.
That's funny. But
I had no idea.
It's great though. And I also, I think it's also created a lot of sympathy towards Britt because people, hated that character before. Now that they know who her parents are, it's kind of like,
they feel sorry for her.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, oh, poor girl. Now they hate me. And I'm hoping, as they get to know me, hopefully they'll hate me less. Like I said, those redeeming moments where, look, I have a heart, just a little heart, but I have a heart. Please don't hate me totally, just a little. So I appreciate that.
It's jaded. I think, I was just curious now, the writers are the ones that tell you to just like show those moments of vulnerability, or is that something you did as an actress?
Well, it's a combination. I mean, to be honest, they give me the script and it's pretty clear, there's a tender moment, and I mean, most of it is written, but every now and then I'll come up with an idea of my own, and the depths of the emotion, of course, I bring that. So it's a team effort, but they give me a map, an emotional map. Here you're cruel, and you're this, and here you do that, and I appreciate that because that gives me an idea of what they want, and then I fill it out with Obrecht's cuckoo-ness or craziness or evilness or the tender-hearted, and I can play it to any depth I want. I can just be superficial and go, I really care about you, but then the director comes in and that one scene we did, with Kelly, with Britta in the hospital, that emotional breakthrough. And the director said, just touch her face gently. And it was perfect.
Yes.
It was this awkward, it wasn't in the script. It was this really awkward, strange thing because they don't have a lot of tactile things together. The mother doesn't really do much to her. So here was this really awkward moment, but it was beautiful. And I thought, brilliant. So it's really a team effort. The writers do a great, like I said, they do this great map. I bring my emotional, whatever it is to it. And then the director will work with, we have a whole bunch of directors and they're all great. And they give their input, and I'm just so grateful. It's like this really good symbiotic, we have a big team going on and we all work together, and it's really cool. Everyone brings something to the table. And the end result is what you see.
Well, it's an amazing result, and you've gotten to work with a large portion of the cast. Because,
I know.
And you have great chemistry with everybody. Kelly Thibault and Finola Hughes and everybody. And, I was...
Tony Carey, Ian Buchanan.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Everybody, lots of people. Yeah, there's still some people I'm drooling. I'm like, I want to work with this person. I'm waiting to work with that person. So in time, I hope to.
I'm sure you will. I could see some sort of fight between Laura Wright and you, or Carly or something.
I love her. I think she's a brilliant actress. She's just awesome.
Definitely.
And, she really brings to the table. And I'd love to work with Maura West.
Mm-hmm.
Ava, I would
that
Ava
could
Jerome.
work. Yeah.
That would be pretty great.
I could think of some scenarios where that would fit in, definitely. Now, so this was something that, like I said, a year ago, you had no idea you were going to be on, on pretty much full time. This is great. And you have done so many things. I mean, you look at your resume and you've been in so many series, and it's amazing.
Yeah. With time, lots of series and movies and tons of theater, so lots of things. Yeah, a lot of movies. I've got a couple films I shot years ago, and they still haven't come out. I did a wonderful film called The American Dream with Nick Stahl, and it's the director is Janusz Kaminski, who is the Oscar-winning cinematographer for Spielberg. And he's directed a couple films, and this is a beautiful story. Hasn't come out. It's like, hurry up and come out, please.
Well, now that you're on GH so often and, your popularity's up there, I think it would be more likely that it will be released soon. That tends to happen. I've seen that happen with a lot of actors. If, they start doing something that's more current, then, there's that movie that they shot 3 years ago,
Yeah. No, it'd be great. It's just he's so busy with Spielberg making one Oscar-winning film after another. He's, this is kind of secondary, but it's a really, really strong story. So I'm just hoping it comes out.
And you've won awards in other countries too.
I have. I won awards in Europe, and I won here a couple of years ago, Best Actress Award for the Los Angeles Hungarian Film Festival for a feature film I did in Europe, Sweden and Romania and Hungary, and it was called Retrace. And that also hasn't come out yet.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I've got these great films, like, come on out.
Well,
but that's, when you're an actor, you just go, you do your best, you put your heart and soul into the work, and then you have to let it go. It doesn't belong to you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's now at the whims of the producers and the writers and the directors and whoever, and the distributors. So, and same thing if we do something on television. What's actually left on the screen isn't always up to you.
Right.
I mean, it's never up to you, but, there's so much they have to show. But sometimes you go see a film and like half of it's missing. Or
I've heard of actors who think they're in a film and they go to premiere night and they bring people and they're not even, their scenes were cut. And that must
Oh yeah, that's believe me, it's happened to all of us, and
wow.
it's painful. It's really painful because you want your work. They say you're only as good as what you're doing or your last job, and if that last job isn't on screen, then you can't say I'm in that film, and it's work that you're proud of. But, it hasn't happened too often. And again, I've been on the producing side too, and sometimes it just doesn't work in the story, and you have to restructure the whole film. So there are two sides to the coin. We can't just feel sorry for ourselves because there's another side. There's a big picture.
Right. Now, I wonder if there are some funny outtakes with Dr. Obrecht. Have they ever released those?
Oh yeah, there are. It's really funny because not too many, but we've had some funny bloopers. I try to stay as close to the script as possible, but every now and then I'm just racking my brain. What is that? What's that word? What's that word? And the other actors are like, "Come on, you can do it. Come on!" And it's funny. And then sometimes you get these like mouth things, like, and I'll say something like, instead of banana, it's like banana, or it's silly things, but it's pretty funny in the moment. But you don't want that to happen too often.
Right, and what's you call Schatzi? Is that
Schatzi? Well, these are the writers come up. It's kind of funny because the writers come up with these great German sentences and names, and these are all real German. So I don't speak German; I have to Google it. And I listen, there's a Translate Google thing, and it's a really good program, and it tells you how to pronounce it. And then I have a German friend, and I just sometimes double check, making sure this is how you say it, because I don't want to really do any serious damage to the German language and offend the audience. And so far, 99.99% I get people saying, "Oh my gosh, you made my mom cry. She's German and doesn't speak much English, and she was bawling when you said that." And when I sang O Tannenbaum, and I didn't destroy the song too much, and people were they loved that it was in German. And so it's amazing how many German people watch the show. And it's really touching when they say, "You pronounce it good." That makes me feel so good, because the last thing I want to do is mispronounce something. But those are real words, and they're real things. And sometimes people will write and say, I don't understand what you're saying. And I'm thinking, well, no, because it's in German.
See, I thought you were fluent in German.
No.
You do speak more than one language, right?
I do. My first language was my parents. They left Hungary and came to Canada, so we spoke Hungarian at home until my parents learned to speak English.
Wow.
But it was Hungarian. Then when I was a kid, I went to school, so Hungarian and English. But I studied French and Spanish in high school, and for some reason retained most of it, which is shocking. And I also studied Russian because I had a dream of going to the Bolshoi and dancing in Russia. And my mother said, "Well, darling, you have to, if you want to go, you better learn to speak Russian." So I did. I did an intensive course at the University of Washington in Seattle, and it was a 2-year program in like 9 months. And within months, we weren't allowed to use any English at all. Every word you spoke in English, you had to give 10 cents. That was a lot of money back in the 70s. We were like, oh, shoot, 10 cents every time. So we learned to speak Russian really fast, and it was fantastic. And I didn't become a ballerina in the Bolshoi, but I have used everything. I used the discipline from the dance, and I used the physicality, and then the Russian language, and then, so all kinds of stuff. And the accents I have, because my poor parents, I used to make fun of their thick Eastern European accents, and that just gave me an ear for mimicking accents, I guess. So.
Well, I think growing up bilingual definitely, I'm sure, gave you a natural instinct to pick up languages,
Absolutely.
And obviously, like I said, I had no idea you didn't speak German, because you have such a great ear that you can sound German. It kind of when the comical moments remind me of little Frau Farbissina from the Austin Powers movies.
Oh yeah.
I was wondering.
I get a lot of that, and Frau Bluhau. Also, I get that a lot too.
Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
Dr. Ruth. What is your problem with your penis? Yeah, I get a lot of that. Yeah, I do get a lot of similarities, comparisons.
Now, were there any characters or things that you sort of took little bits and pieces from for Obrecht, or is this something that you just totally did out of your own head?
You know what? I didn't. Nobody from television or the movies, but I know people like Obrecht. I've actually been directed by someone who's actually like her.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And it's interesting because she's got this like love-hate thing going on in her family. She, with everybody, she treats, there was this woman and bright, sharp, it was attack. I mean, just amazing woman, but definitely had a dark, evil side. Definitely. And then could be really kind and loving, and you don't really know if you can trust that, but you want to, because it's just so warm and so loving and so awesome. Mm-hmm. So, I've based loosely on her, and I've kind of taken different things from different people that I know in my past, and like I said, I bring a lot of myself to it, which is fun, because now I can bring myself to the table, the goofy, silly, quirky stuff. That's kind of who I am, the playful, ridiculous child. And that's basically, like I said, who I am, and I can bring that to the character. But there's a lot of stuff that I've just taken from people that I've seen and behaviors and watching things. I mean, there are a lot of actors I admire, but they're not, what they bring is not what would be appropriate for Obrecht.
Right. Well, you do a great job. And I noticed that, she's definitely hurt by Faison and jaded, and that's part of why she's afraid to show love, I think. And you kind of show that just with the little facial expression here and there, and that's what I think has created sympathy from the audience. And Faison is this horrible person that's treated Obrecht so horribly that she just is so hurt, and she treats everybody horribly.
It's true. Well, again, I'm very interested in the psychology of people. I think that fascinates me more than anything else, and especially when I'm doing a new character. It's like, what's the psychology? What brings her to this place to behave in such a way? The truth is, she allowed that. We're all responsible for our behaviors to a certain extent, especially when we're adults. As a child, you're a victim because you don't know better. But as an adult, you can choose to say that's enough. And she was just so mesmerized and so taken by Faison for so long. Plus, they had a child together. I think she was just hoping to hook him with that. That I think the time has come for her to let go, and I think that there's been a lot of hints towards that, and that I don't believe she carries the torch for him anymore. At least not like that. He'll always have an incredibly special place in her heart. But I think this last year we've slowly seen her let go. And there's been changes, and she's grown, and that's why there was a big scene, emotional breakthrough with her daughter, because she's realizing she's been hurting her daughter all these years, doing the same thing to her daughter what César did to her, when there's this beautiful, valuable human being in front of her. So I don't know if you saw that whole emotional breakthrough.
I watch every single day. I've been actually, yes, I've been watching every day since the episode where you were moving, or where Obrecht was moving Robin around, and then, so I think I started with your first episode, actually.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. And
it's been a year and, almost 2 years now. It's coming up to 2 years soon in summer.
That is true, and you started around the same time Ian Buchanan came back, I think.
That's right.
Right. And
that's right.
That's right. And, now, so you created a backstory in your head kind of for Obrecht to get into her head, or?
Absolutely. Absolutely. However, that's very dangerous with the writers, because if you come up with this is how it is, and then the next day it's like, oh no, that's not how it is, So it was very loosey-goosey. I mean, I definitely, every time I have a character, I know who she is, I know where she comes from, I know all that stuff. But in this case, I have to keep it very neutral. I make choices just for that specific episode, because the next episode can be a whole different thing. So yeah, I have to be careful with that. But as it's evolving, and now over 2 years, there's definitely a backstory that's pretty thorough. But like I said, it keeps evolving.
Absolutely. I think Liesel is starting to fall for Victor Cassadine, or maybe rebounding from Faison, because she's starting to warm up to him.
Yeah, there's definitely something there.
But she can use him. I think she's also trying to use him to get info.
There is that too. But these two use each other. I mean, they use everybody and everything. Right. So it just kind of suits them. It's like, well, there's that whole scene with the Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
The Valentine's Day episode is fabulous, where he brings the chocolates and the pin, the brooch, and it's just, I'm going to use you can you help me find out information on Cesar? And he's going to try to use me to get information on Robin's, Jason Morgan and those people. So I'm trying, and, we're openly, overtly trying to help each other in a very slimy, sleazy way. I think it's fabulous.
Oh, it is.
I look forward to that developing.
Definitely.
If that's the way they're going to go, we'll see. But
yes, I mean, I love the way that she's developed, and it's great when you can just switch from comedy to serious to evil like so fast. It's just not every actor can do that. I think that's an amazing skill.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm happy and grateful that I get to do that. Like I said, most roles are one-dimensional. You will now play the sad, broken-hearted mother. You will now play the miserable, wife, or the happy-go-lucky. So, and it's beautiful. You're working and it's great, but you're only doing one thing. And it's not interesting. Mm-hmm. It's not interesting after a while, because you want to play colors and you want to be, broader, and the thing is, I had lots of theater training, so I can be really broad, and I have to be careful. But it fits in. They write it in. It's like, oh, she's campy and broad. It's like, really? Oh no, but it works. Right. And the next minute, as long as I can be serious and real, because I love in film and television to be really real and honest. That's how I studied, and that has always been my quest, to bring truth to every moment. Yes. It doesn't always work, and I watch every episode I'm in, and I go, no, it's okay. That wasn't good. Oh, that was honest. I believed you. Okay, Gati, you're good here. Here, you suck. And I'm trying to learn. I'm growing with the character and developing it to make it more honest and more real, and just bring it all, the truth to the table.
Well, I've noticed that in every episode you're in, it seems like there's a little more depth to her. And it's funny you say you watch every episode, because I've talked to a lot of other actors and soap actors, they actually don't watch. And I find that interesting, to not watch yourself. As I'm a musician and I listen back to my music, I listen back to my shows, because I want to get better,
Exactly. I want to get better. I'm looking and I'm going, ooh, gosh, those things in my neck, I look old and I can't do that. That's negative, and that doesn't help, and I can't do anything about it. I'm not about to have plastic surgery, because it's not who I am, and I don't want to do that. But so I have to stop looking at the physical and look at what is my soul. Am I bringing something that's real? Is that believable? Is it too broad? Am I making, I'm really trying to, the same thing like I said, you listen to music. I do try to educate myself each time. It's painful. It's not easy, but I do try to learn. And I also, and at the point, I think when you get older, you can say, okay, I did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get a lot of pats. I grade myself, A minus, B. Oh, that was a C. Oh, that was A plus. Good girl. Okay. And I do try, like I said, you too, like you, I want to be better all the time. And I want Obrecht to be richer and fuller and more honest and real in all the extreme things that I have to do. So it is educational. It's painful, but it's educational.
Well, I can definitely attest to that. You've been doing excellent, and I notice growth in every episode. So you're doing an amazing job. And now, what's it like behind the scenes? I mean, do you guys have fun on the set? Who's the clown on the set? I'm just curious.
Oh, that's funny. I would say it would be me, but I'm too intense with the material and stuff to be goofy. But who's fun? Kelly's a riot. I mean, she's just lots of fun. M Ryan is a blast. She's just really, really nice. Everyone's so nice. I mean, I hate to say that, it sounds corny and cliche, but it's a really, really good group of people. And I think one of the things is that Frank Valentini and Ron, they look, they're bringing in more people, nice people, and they're talented. Every actor that I've there's no one there that I've met that isn't a really nice person. Some people are not as warm and fuzzy as others, but we haven't interacted that much, or we haven't worked together, or they don't know me. And because since I was new and I only came for a couple episodes, and it's taking them longer to warm up to me, but they don't know me. But the other people that I've worked with, they're just a blast. And it's like every time I see them, and I want to socialize with them, but we don't have time. And so I just get to the set and I start working like a little, robot, and I'm like, okay, go here, that's down, I'll say this here, and I'll make sure here I'm going to cry, and here I'm going to be stupid, and here I'm going to stab him. So, I kind of go through all this stuff. So there's not really time for me to have fun and play and stuff. But some of the people there are just, like I said, Kelly's a riot, and I think who else, they're really, really let go and have fun. Mm-hmm. But they're so cool. I mean, I admire them. They just come and bring all this chill, groovy, hip, fun stuff, energy to the set. Me, I'm like this little neurotic. Okay, go ahead. Well, I'm looking forward to that when I get to that point where I can be like chill and groovy like them. That's my goal.
Well, I mean, I was wondering because you have to do so many different emotions so quickly in different scenes. It must be kind of, do you stay in character between scenes and have to focus on? No. Okay.
No, I don't. I mean, I've worked with actors that for the whole day they're these, assholes. And it's like, really? You don't need to do that. It's not necessary, and it's mean. It's mean to the people around you. And I'm talking big named actors, big Hollywood stars. I'm thinking you don't have to do that to do the work. You come in, you get the emotional place, you do the scene, and we move on. Another thing is a lot of it's very dramatic. You can't stay there emotionally, or you're going to destroy yourself. You can definitely go have 3 days of depression, and that's dangerous. Yeah. I've done that in my early days of acting.
I was wondering about that with soap actors who play the same character day after day, and it's emotional. Like how do you separate that from how do you separate Liesel from Kathleen?
Well, I separate because there's just so many crazy things that I do that it doesn't interfere with my who I am. It's true. I mean, when I had that emotional breakthrough with Kelly, with Britta and Dr. Obrecht, they had that big mother-daughter thing. It touched me. It really took a few moments to kind of okay, but it was okay because I stayed in that place and we had a couple more scenes, and then the other characters come in and you kind of work with it. But the other stuff, it's fun, or you're stabbing somebody. I mean, that's not real. We're playing. I mean, and I really say we are playing. And that means this is for the audience too. Guys, we are just having fun. We are here to entertain and to play and be extreme and do crazy things. And people take this literally. And so, I mean, some people take this so seriously, and they get angry with us. First of all, we didn't write the material. We're not responsible for that. Our job is to do it. Well, I had a singing teacher once, many years ago, and she said to me, and I said, I don't like this piece of music. She goes, it's not for you to like, it's for you to do it well.
Oh, I've had the same thing with piano teachers. I know exactly what you're talking about. And
Charity, da-da-da-da-da.
You bring up an excellent point with soap fans, too, because whenever I watch soaps, I check reality at the door, and
you have to.
And I just enjoy it, I'm not going to love every storyline, or there are always things I might do differently if I were writing it, but it's fun. It's good escape, and it's fantasy. And I think, and that's what people need to realize. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I really, and again, I tell the audience, because, I mean, most of the people are just fabulous, and they suspend belief, and they sit there for an hour, and they're like, oh, this is just party time, and that's all it is. I mean, vampires and stabbing people and all kinds of things. And then other parts are really authentic, and I think it's really interesting, and I love that with the writing, that some of it is so real, because losing a spouse or losing a child, I mean, we unfortunately, life has a lot of that, so I think a lot of people can relate and connect, and I think that's important for them, too. And there's humor in it, and there's love, and there's sex, and there's everything, so it's so broad that I think there's such a wide audience that it can appeal to so many people, and it does.
Yeah.
All walks of life, all ages. I mean, I have people tell me, I just started watching and I love it. And this becomes my primetime show because I watch it at night.
Yes, me too.
Or you too, right? And a lot of people are like
DVR.
Yeah, and it's now primetime because they watch it at night. So it takes, it replaces their other shows. And other people have been watching for 50 years, and they're like, oh, I just love the way the show's evolved and love you. And that means so much to me because these are hardcore fans. Since 51 years, they've been watching every single episode. And I go to the gym and people stop me. Oh my gosh, you're so mean this week. I'm like, wait till next week. Haha,
Now, do people ever yell at you when they see you, or as if you are
sure.
Obrecht? Or
but just for fun.
Yeah.
Just for fun. I mean, no one's been mean. When I was on All My Children back in 89 and 90 for a couple months, I got yelled at. And that was awful. And that was my first big break. And I was excited because she was like, oh, you're in All My Children. I'm like, yes. And they're like, you're Kathy Winslow. I'm like, yes. And they're like, you're such a bitch. And it wasn't pleasant. It was actually mean. And I thought, wow, this is what success is. I don't like it. Because we're playing. This isn't who I am. I didn't write the material. I'm just hopefully doing a good job and you're enjoying yourself. But that was then. And now, fortunately, it's been a better response. And most of it, I have to say, actually, all the messages I'm getting have been just beautiful.
Oh, yeah. On Twitter, I mean, a lot of soap fans follow me because of the show and because I interview mostly soap actors. And I have not seen a negative tweet about your character at all. In fact, they've all been very positive. So you're definitely well loved. And
oh, good.
I thank you for joining me. Can you just say something in the Obrecht voice before we go?
You would like me to say something? Yes. Rob, well, I thank you so much for bringing me to the show today, and thank you for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Oh, well, that was very nice of you, Doctor.
And all the best with your music. I look forward to hearing some good music.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, Kathleen.
Thanks so much. You take care. Okay. I appreciate the interview. Thanks.
Have a great night. Bye. That was Kathleen Gati, who plays the wonderfully wicked Dr. Liesel Obrecht on General Hospital. From what I hear and see on social media, everyone loves her, and her character is someone you love to hate or just plain love. Coming up next week, I have Tracy Bregman, who plays Lauren Fenmore Baldwin on The Young and the Restless on Monday. And on Thursday, I have Beth Maitland, who plays Tracy Abbott. So it's going to be a Young and the Restless week next week, and they're celebrating their 41st anniversary. Thanks for listening.